Don't freak this all went no.
Okay. So
Seems we're gonna start here in a
up
minute.
there, with the.
30 seconds, really.
Okay.
15,
That's amazing, but I think we have not, I was there.
13, 10 seconds. I'm
Small
going.
world. That's awesome. That's awesome. There you go. So keep that kind of thing going. That's awesome.
Welcome, everybody. Think we have a forum here? Looks like. Probably. Well, welcome, everybody. I'm glad to see you all. It's a busy time of year. Just thought I'd go over the agenda real quickly. You might have it in front of you. But following consent and public comment, if we have any, we're going to go to general business. And as you remember, we started last week on some of the proposed charter amendments, so we'll pick up with those where we left off. Nikki's going to provide a recap of just our process, going around and giving everybody time to bring up their proposals. And as time allows, we're going to go to two of the big agenda items that we requested more information on last week. So I guess at this point, do I hear a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
So move. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Thank you. I don't know if we have any no cards. We have no cards. Okay. And no written comments from the last meeting either. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I see Jeff Furlow. He's not going to speak. Are there some people who want to speak now? We haven't seen any cards. That's not so. Carry on. Okay. All right. Thanks, Dan. Okay. All right. So Nikki's going to go through the kind of recap of what we're doing and how we do it, so y'all can just be refreshed a little bit from where we left off last meeting. Take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Just as a quick recap, as you'll recall at your last meeting, we discussed the two-step process for the committee to guide the introduction and discussion of proposed charter amendments. As you'll see on the screen, these are all the proposals that have been proposed to date. But just to recap the process, we'll have the opportunity first to go around the table for the chair to recognize any members that have any additional broad ideas to be added to the list. Again, just a reminder, no detailed discussion or explanation at that point, just the broad concept. Then once we go the second time around the table, each proposer will take a couple minutes to explain, answer any questions, and then the committee will vote on whether to advance an issue for analysis to be brought back. Just as a reminder, once we get to this point, we will pick up on item number 3, the county commission compensation, which is where you left off at your last meeting. And again, you'll still have future meetings to propose additional ideas. The intent today, though, is to establish the work plan for the committee's remaining meetings, so that way you guys are on the same page on where you're heading for the next few weeks. Yeah,
I just want to interrupt. We do have one speaker who wants to address us before we get into that, and that's Melanie Williams. Melanie, would you like to come up to the microphone? Looks like me.
Yes, where?
Yep, where's the microphone? Right over here. Just state your name and address, please, for our record, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Melanie Andrade Williams. My address is 3349 Argonaut Drive, Tallahassee, Florida 32312. Sorry, I just walked in. I didn't expect to be first up. I just wanted to express my support of 2 of the proposed amendments up here by Chairperson Strobel. And I want to talk in detail about one of them. And that's the one regarding food security. So a little bit about me. I'm a mom of 3, and I've been living here for 14 years. I came up here to go to school at Florida A&M, and like many, I never left. I started a family. I have 3 kids now, and I live on the north side on North Meridian Road. And I just want to share that I believe that to ensure Leon County is a healthy county, we must prioritize food security. I think this is a baseline. It's really just a bare minimum. We have to plan ahead for a dependable food system. Without one, we risk a continued degradation of our public safety, dignity, and our public health. Yes, we have food pantries and we have many organizations and churches that organize around this issue. However, it's not enough. I think that relying on nonprofits to address a vital need would be a grave mistake if we continue to do so. Currently, I think that's what we do, and it's an error on our part, and now you all have the chance to fix it. We can't food bank our way out of structural gaps. Let's be a prepared county and codify planning, metrics, and emergency feeding as a charter obligation. I don't have prepared statements for the other one, but I think that we need to at least start to address the historic harms done to certain people in our community, to start to build trust with the community as a government, and go from there. So I look forward to hearing you all debate on both of those topics. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other speakers that just arrived? No. Hey, hi. Okay. Continue, Ms. Hatch.
So just to wrap it up, those who wish to propose additional ideas to be added to the list, just have your card turned and the chair will recognize you. Again, just the first time, just the broad concept, and then the second time around, you will have the opportunity to provide more detail and answer questions and ultimately vote whether or not you'd like an analysis to come back. So with that, I'll hand it off to you. Yeah, give it. So the first time, anybody who want to get, yeah.
Order of appearance. Thank you. Okay, we will go around. I've got 3 people at this point. Mr. Strobel, would you like to begin?
Yes, so we are adding to the list.
Yes.
So I have a amendment for historic harms restoration, community restoration for historic harms. I don't know how to word it, but yeah, it'll be better when we talk about it.
For historic,
Yeah.
Okay.
did you say arms?
Harm. Really old arms are so cute. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, Barry Wilcox, please.
Just a quick point of clarification. This isn't the last meeting where we could bring an
No, you'll have opportunities at each and every meeting going forward up until January.
Thank you.
Right. Hey, Mr. Lewis?
I'm going to address the elephant in the room. I want to talk about city and county consolidation.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Hurley?
To bring back an item for discussion about a non-binding straw ballot about the sale of city property located on Magnolia.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments at this time? All right, thank you. All right.
The chair will now recognize those, starting with Member Hurley to introduce in detail item number 3, County Commission compensation.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. So these items I've suggested for you today, I would consider as kind of the 4 corners of typical discussions around the charter, as I also recognize some of the conversations about consolidation. So the compensation item would just have the county staff bring back information about what is in the charter right now, how we determine county commissioner pay, and explaining the rationale behind that.
Are there any other, can we have any comments on that? Any questions at all? Mr. Lewis, did you have a comment on that? Okay. Yeah, yes, please.
Yes, maybe to Chair for Mr. Hurley.
Mhm.
Are you asking to look at the information beyond what's in the charter and beyond what's in the statute with regard to county commissioner pay?
I'm not sure how to answer that. Beyond the statute, I think it would just be the county staff explaining what's in the charter. What is the rationale behind that in terms of how we arrived at that?
At this time, we're just asking for more information on this.
Yes.
All right, other comments, Mr. Strobel?
It's, so wait there. Unless you're ready for it.
Unless we have other, Mr. Smith? Yeah, we do have a few.
You've obviously read the charter. What are you about?
That I'm after a discussion about county commissioner set compensation.
You read it, but what does it say? What are you after? What are you trying to get to? You want to raise their salary or do you want to lower salary?
Well, I think this kind of conversation is what we'd have when the item comes back.
All right. I beg your pardon?
It's okay now, though.
Yeah, would you like to make a motion on this issue? Is that, no? Comment?
So
Okay.
my comment is still pertaining to the process, and it's just considering that we could in the near future have this filled up with 20 or 30 items. If one member was to put 10 or 15 items in a row, it could almost filibuster anyone else from getting a chance to hear their item, and we have limited time. So the suggestion I would like to make is if we went instead of just in the order of each one that's listed, if we went by member as they propose, and they could do one at a time, and then we come back to them, that even gives people more time to prepare to defend their position that they put. But it's just a suggestion.
I think it's worth the committee discussing. There's some people who'd rather have, I understand what you're saying, because we want to be as efficient as we can and get to everybody's ideas. I'm just not sure what the motion would be. If there's a way you want to just,
Motion
I mean-
to proceed by member as opposed to the order of the item. Does that make sense?
no, but, I'm sorry, just a little more clarity.
We go back to some of the budget.
Yes. I'm trying to think how to word that in motion. A motion that we proceed through this list by member as opposed to by item.
So recognizing that member Hurley's items and then yours, would you like to get through all of Hurley's and then get?
No. He could do one, and then it would go to me, then to Mr. Lewis, and to her else plus one, then back to Hurley in kind of that order. How do I word that for the motion?
Well, this is kind of new territory, I think.
No bulk processing of amendments?
Does anybody have a quarter? We can, yeah.
If I may, I mean, I can voluntarily kind of table or deprioritize items as well, if that's easier.
I know that you need to go to the business of tabling. I think, let's just hear this one out, and then we're going to go to the next one and just go around the room, and we'll get back to you before the day is over, for sure. But not, because I agree with you. We don't want to just have one person's comments.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Edwards? No, you're, okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Vice Chair.
Madam Chair, thank you. In reference to Member Hurley's on compensation, the Office of Economic and Demographics, EDR, provides the salaries for those county commissioners, all of our constitutional officers. And, I would love for the county administrator, to speak on that. I mean, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. I mean, population, and so forth. So, and then as we all know, the city just recently voted to, that their compensation is tied to what the county commissioners are. So, I mean, that's how we got to that. So the county commissioners are not voting on their own salary, whether it's up or down. These figures are provided by EDR in September or October of each year. And that's what the county commissioners go by. And it includes property appraisers, like I said, all constitutional officers, superintendent, sheriff, school board members. So it's a formula that they use And the more, populated your county is, like Broward, I think those are the highest county commissioner salaries within the state.
Right.
So we already have a formula and a basis for that right now.
Yeah, thank you. And that is, part of the discussion we have if we want to go forward. Is there any more comment on that, Mr. Kessler, Dr. Kessler?
On the salaries?
Yes,
No,
not at this time. Do I hear a motion to go forward on this particular item on the matter of commission compensation, county commission compensation? Pardon me?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
You make the motion to move forward with that? Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, I mean, we can go
The vote
forward.
brought back would be additional analysis on the topic.
Beyond what Chauncey was just explaining, is
Right.
there more that you would like to
Yeah,
understand?
yeah, I would just like the item to come back to explain from staff's perspective, the charter for county commissioner compensation.
So at some point, though, do we want to just keep bringing things back? I would like to see if we have the willingness of this board to go forward with this particular item, either deal with it today or go forward, because it has been, pardon me?
Fails without a second.
I know, we had conversation over here, I just want, but yeah.
You made a motion, we asked for a second, there was none. That's all
We-
I like.
Right. I was trying to respectfully get Mr. Haynes a chance to speak on that. All right, we'll go forward with this. But what I don't want to do is just bring us back for more information.
So it's not, they failed.
Right. Right, so this is not coming back for more information, just for clarity. This is just to declare it. We hadn't had a second on this, so the motion dies for lack of a second. And we'll move on to the next item, which at this point will be, which is the second one coming up after whose?
So the committee didn't, are we sticking with the policy? The committee didn't vote otherwise.
We didn't vote, we didn't get a second on it, so there's no
Okay.
vote.
So the next on the list is the funding
Done.
mechanism for affordable housing. Member Hurley?
I would like to table this item in number 5, so that we can get to the Bill of Rights.
Okay.
Do I hear a second to table this motion?
What?
You made a
I mean,
motion to
a lack
table?
of a Motion. I mean, I'm just stating that I wasn't going to make a motion.
No, I think to table, I think you make a motion to table it, am I correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And I need a second on that to table it? Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to table this motion, which would,
Madam Chair,
Commissioner?
based upon the recommendation of Dr. Strobel, which you accepted, would be that after we dealt with Commissioner, Member Hurls.
We're going
that
forward to
We
yeah,
would go to another member's
we are.
recommendation rather than proceed in the order in which they. were
That's
given.
right, my apology.
So it really.
I would like to go ahead and dispense with this one if you don't mind, and then we'll go back to Mr. Strobel. Motion's been made and seconded to table the next item that on 4 and 5. No, yeah, all of them?
4 and 5.
4 and 5. 4 and 5. All those in favor of tabling 4 and 5, please say so by saying yes. Those opposed, no. Okay, they're tabled. All right, we're going to move on to Mr. Strobel's. Number 7, that's yours, Dr. Strobel. Mhm.
Just a quick write-up, can I share the?
Yeah, you want to pass it around? Thank you.
We have staff to help.
So we have, okay.
All right, thank you, everyone. What I'm passing around is just to propose just some general ideas about how we could approach food security in the charter. What you'll see in this document that I'm sharing with you is just some brief information about what the county is facing in terms of food security. If any of you have ever dealt with hunger in any capacity, even for a short period of time, you know that when you are hungry, you're not in your best state of mind. You're not able to make the best decisions. You're not able to plan for the long term, engage in local politics. There's a lot of things that hunger debilitates. So I want us to consider looking at a potential change in our charter that allows us as a county to address food insecurity, but as we heard from our speaker earlier, not by solely depending on food banks or only emergency response. That's something that we prioritize, and we make it a responsibility of the county as the county makes decisions to consider the impact on food security and to move us towards localized food sovereignty as a county. And what that means is that Leon County, the city of Tallahassee, and all partners involved would start to take more of a responsibility in making sure that all of our citizens have food access. It's a growing problem. We know that 30,000 Leon County residents are food insecure currently. We know that this primarily hurts Black households, single mothers, and our seniors, and particularly the 32304 zip code. We have great food relief programs, but that's not enough. We see what they're doing in other communities in New York. They included in their charter. It mandates an Office of Food Policy and a 10-year food plan. Toronto and Vancouver also have food charters as well. I found one in South America. They're doing this as well, and it's happening in Maine, and other counties and other municipalities are considering such action. I have 3 options that we could consider here, and I'm open to other ideas as well. But an Office of Food Access, perhaps a amendment to Article 1 of the Charter, which adds food access and food systems resilience as a constitutional county responsibility, and also updating the preamble in the opening of the charter, which will add language affirming equitable access to nutritious food as a guiding value for the county. I think this is incredibly important considering what we're facing. We all saw what happened with the shutdown recently. We had hundreds, if not thousands, of residents in our county who didn't know where their next meal would come from. And I don't think we could afford to be in that situation in the near future. So I would ask that we consider getting more information on how we could structure this and how we can move forward with it. Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Jones.
Yes, if you offer a motion, I'll second for advancement for analysis.
So,
Huh?
So you're.
Was there a motion? Oh, I'm sorry.
You're offering a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We've got a motion. Is that what your motion is? Motion has been made and seconded to move forward for more information on this
Yes, ma'am.
product. Are there comments before we vote? Yes, sir.
So the funding is something we could get more information on, different funding ideas, but in different locations, it's generally funded from and I couldn't speak to all of them, but I know, for example, New York, it's a tax funded office, but the purpose is monitoring, assessing, and identifying where your food systems resilience challenges are, so that you could be ahead of them instead of trying to respond on the back end. So how that office gets structured, that would come down more so to the purview of the county commissioners, but mandating it in the charter would be something that if we gave the voters a chance to vote on, we could set it up so that we at least establish that baseline.
And if you talk to like Second Harvest, what are their thoughts?
I would love to get Second Harvest's input into this. I've been talking with members of a food policy council that's being established here in Leon County, which involves, it'll involve the county, Second Harvest, other food service providers, farmers, grocers, and so forth. And this is something that will be an ongoing discussion. So at this point, we're asking for more information on
I'd
that.
just be curious what the county events or dinner, but comments those.
Madam Chair, just to respond to the question.
Certainly.
Should this motion pass, we will bring back all the information that's been requested and then some. I think it would be important for the committee. We recognize that not everyone works on these issues every day. We do. And so the board regularly receives very comprehensive updates on this issue. And I think the committee would be well served by getting all of that along with structural options, and you all can process all that information and provide direction, again, should this motion pass.
Okay, Ms. Bond Edwards, did you have a comment on that? Would you like, for sure. Would you like to?
It's been out for a while.
I know, I've been trying to think. Okay, all right, motions, yes, Ms. Favors.
Does the county currently have an Office of Resilience or anything similar to that? And is that where something like this would fall?
We do, but this focus primarily resides in our Office of Human Services and Community Partnerships, where we align both of our funding as well as leverage all the resources in the community to address high priority issues like this one. And so again, real quick turnaround for us on something like this because we regularly provide it to the board. And And again, I think everyone would benefit from that information.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Ray?
Yeah, just wanted to thank the sponsor of this good idea. I think it's a worthwhile conversation. I'm looking forward to supporting it.
Thanks. Thanks very much. Ms. Bond Edwards?
Question, but, sales tax that was passed for the Children's Services Council, does it have a sunset? Or, is it just forever and ever?
The sunset.
Shake didn't make it as well.
Expires after
Sunset.
13 years or something like that.
Good afternoon. Yeah, it's set for sunset 2032 unless it's renewed by the citizens of Neal County.
And I guess what brought me to that was whether or not there could be some tie-in perhaps to the sunset date for that, so that the funding could perhaps come with it. Just a suggestion. But since it's not set to sunset until 2032, that's a long time to wait for additional money. But again, just a thought.
Right, Dr. Robinson?
I would just ask the staff to also look at where we may look at some federal help with this. This falls right in line with the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again, so we may be able to weave something in there. We have rural pockets in Leon County. Tallahassee proper is considered urban, but you're talking, we need to look at the Rural Health Transformation Act that's coming out. That may help us put some financial legs under this. So just kind of pencil that in the margins somewhere and see where we can jump in.
Good suggestions. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take a vote on this. All in favor, the motion's been made and seconded to move forward with this for more information. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Thank you very much. Next item.
All right, we will go back to Member Hurley for discussion on the Leon County Bill of Rights.
Excuse me, can we move next to
Lewis.
Member Lewis?
Yes, yes.
We're going round robin here. That's the word you're looking for, round robin.
Okay. Thank you.
I didn't come prepared to do a handout on the need for us to look at the consolidation of our two governments. I think over the past several years, most of us who live here have seen a lot of disorder and discontent with how our governments operate, either singly or collectively. And there is an opportunity now for us to consider whether or not it is financially feasible, administratively feasible, and governmentally feasible for us to look at moving two governments from one block across from one another to together in that regard. And I think there's a lot of economies of scale. I know there's a lot of other issues that would preclude that from happening, but I think as a charter review that won't come back before us before another 8 years, that this is an opportune time for us to look at the item. And I understand that staff is already doing some at the direction of the City County Commission, and I think this is an appropriate time for us as a charter review committee to receive that information and take any action that this committee deems appropriate.
Second.
Oh, sorry about that. Motion's been made and seconded to move forward for more information on consolidation of city and county government. All those in favor of moving forward, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Thank you.
All right, we will do a roll call vote. Joey Davis,
Can I get one more restatement of the motion, please?
to bring back additional analysis on the proposal related to consolidation of county and city government.
Aye.
Linda Bond Edwards. Liz Ellis. Anita Favors.
Yes.
Max Hurley.
Nay.
Daryl Jones.
Yes.
Howard Kessler.
Yes.
Henry Lewis. Heidi Outway.
Yeah.
Sean No. Ryan Ray,
No.
Shamariel Roberson, Temple Robinson,
Yes.
William Smith, Bruce Strobel,
Yes.
Jarrett Terry,
Yes.
Katrina Tuggerson, Barry Wilcox,
Yes.
Vice Chair Haynes,
Yes.
and Chair Lindley.
Yes. Motion carries.
And we have a roll call vote.
That's 2 nay and 17 yay.
How many people do we have absent here?
So next is hers. All right, up next, we have number 6, the Bill of Rights by Member Hurley. This was a part of the handout that Member Hurley provided a couple weeks ago at your meeting. Recognizing members may not have that on hand, we have printed copies available, just so everybody is looking at the same material.
So, I had shared with you all some thoughts about what might be in a Leon County Bill of Rights. And coming back to you in the blue sheet is what that was as it was presented about a month ago. And then also, you're getting passed around right now the Miami-Dade County Home Rule Charter. And so if you look at this charter, the way their charter starts out, they've got their preamble. And then starting on the second page, they have their Citizens Bill of Rights. And so they have 17,
Excuse me. Right,
oh, it's okay. Okay. So they have, it's 3 or 4 pages here. I would like us to consider what this similar type of preamble and document would look like on the Leon County Charter. I really am not, I would love you all's feedback on what that would look like, what would be in a Bill of Rights, and this is just for staff to bring back information. So I guess I would be interested in staff bringing back information about what other counties have Citizen Bill of Rights in them and what that might include.
Okay.
Was that a motion?
Yeah, so I would make a motion to have staff bring back information about what other counties do in Florida for the Citizens Bill of Rights. Something to just get us started about what the landscape would be for that.
I second.
For further discussion. On the Bill of Rights, or do you have questions? Ms. Von Edwards? Not on, sorry about that. Ms. Von Edwards, don't? Not on this issue? Okay with that, all right. Mr. Smith?
What does this Bill of Rights accomplish?
Our comprehensive plan in Leon County that governs the future of our community's growth, it has, like the U.S. Constitution, there is a document that is the highest form of it, and then beneath it, there's rules, and at a federal level, there's laws that Congress passes. And what you'll find is that the higher up that kind of pyramid of law you go, the more vision-oriented the statements get. So like in the comp plan at the very beginning, they're value statements. It says things like, it addresses how people can interact with the land, and the modifications to the charter would be about how as people we interact with the government, similar to what is in the U.S. Constitution, what is in the Florida Constitution.
If I may, Madam Chair.
Sir.
The reason I seconded it, that the staff would come back with it, is because unlike the document that we have here before us, which is Miami-Dade's, that I would think that our Leon County Bill of Rights would be emblematic of what we hold as our values, operating in the sunshine, making certain that we, at all of our public meetings, all have opportunity for public comment. Those things that already exist would be codified as values in terms of how we operate as a community. And so it would be germane to us. And then because it would be a document that would have its life start here at the Charter Review Committee level, there would be opportunity for us to add to whatever the recommendations that would come to staff as things that we hold sacrosanct, that we prioritize. For example, if we were to create prioritization of food security, that might also find its place in here if that were a recommendation coming to us.
Yeah.
If we prioritize affordable housing, that too would find itself in no different than any Bill of Rights that is supposed to be emblematic of a country or a nation's values. We would do the same thing at Leon County. And that's why I second it, because that is what I would hope would be the manifestation ultimately, first starting with the recommendation coming from the staff, and then whatever else we would add as a charter review committee to populate that document.
And probably just to be clear, this is just as an example. It's just an example. It's not a prototype, I don't think, in any means. And then as you all saw on what he handed out originally, there are 10 different pieces that you'd like us to discover, to discuss later on. So at this point, without further,
Clarifying.
sure. Yeah, certainly.
I think this question may be for legal. So with the Bill of Rights, like, these things are very similar to what's in statute about public records. So does the Bill of Rights, like, provide any, like, legal coverage, trump, like, what does it do legally? And how is it implemented and upheld?
Right, county attorney might want to speak to that, sure.
That would have to be, hello? Okay. That would have to be determined because the first 10 amendments in the U.S. Constitution actually are legal rights. They are not emblematic of values or, well, they are, but there are actual legal causes of action associated with those, which seems to not be consistent with what Member Jones is talking about. And that is something that would have to be discussed. To the extent it created rights, of course, that would be subject to the same analysis, everything else that the committee is considering related to laws would require, which is an assessment and evaluation of current laws at the federal and state level in areas where we would be preempted from acting.
Does it, like, I'm trying to ask, like, what does a Bill of Rights do, like, for the general public? Like, what does it do?
And I would love to have, give the county attorney's office more time to review it. And like specifically answering that question you just raised with even this document, I would love to know to what extent that I'm sure, this has been in the Miami-Dade Charter for a long time. And so I know that these issues have come up legally and that'll give her an opportunity, her office an opportunity to
Yeah,
get information
thank you.
back.
Ms. Otway?
So that would be added under.
These are values to enforce. Mr. Wilcox?
Clarification on the motion. My understanding was it was just a motion to bring back information on what other counties in the state of Florida might have a Bill of Rights and how.
That was specifically the motion, to bring back what other counties are doing, not just Miami-Dade, but if there are others that have Bill of Rights. All right. All right, going forward, then we're going to have motions been made and seconded on moving forward with the Bill of Rights discussion. Pardon me? Sorry.
Just
Mr.
quickly
Davis?
to clarify and kind of speak towards the committee members' question. A lot of the bills of rights that are currently in statute, firefighters, police, several others, they generally speak to areas where there are gaps, either in statute. A lot of what you see here in the Miami-Dade document are speaking to things that are probably dealt with within their ordinance that could be changed at will by the commission, right? These would then be the rights of the members through the charter that the commission could not supersede, right? So while Vince does a great job and they do a great job of providing budgets and giving reports, this then enforces what level to which you expect that county government to interact.
I would think that's something the county attorney would address, just how that enforcement will go. Just as chair, if there are no other comments, I'm just concerned about how you would get this much information on a charter on a ballot. I think I would, I'd be interested in seeing how that would shake down as well. All right. All those in favor of moving forward with the motion to consider a Bill of Rights for our county, please indicate by saying aye. And those opposed, no.
No.
We'll have a roll call vote on this end. Thank you.
Starting with Joey Davis. Linda Bond Edwards. Liz Ellis. Anita Favors. Max Hurley.
Aye.
Daryl Jones. Howard Kessler.
Aye.
Henry Lewis. Heidi Otway.
Aye.
Ryan Ray.
No.
Shamario Roberson.
No.
Temple Robinson.
Yes.
William Smith. Bruce Strobel.
Yes.
Jarrett Terry.
Yes.
Katrina Tuggerson. Barry Wilcox.
Yes.
Vice Chair Haynes.
Yes.
Chair Lindley.
No.
Seven day, 10 day.
Motion passes 10 to 7. Is that correct? Thank you. All right, next item. Back to Mr. Stroll. Oh, I'm sorry. Just put it up when you want to talk and down when you're finished and back. You can pop and, all right. Don't leave it up to
Chair,
her.
I mean, point of order, I think we have 19 members here, and that number that was given as a vote doesn't add up to 19.
Want to review the vote? Twelve to 7.
Thank you.
Thanks for clarifying that. Okay. All right, now. Yeah.
Again, I missed my turn on the round robin for new topics.
Uh-huh.
And so and I don't know if I'm in order to do that or if there's another opportunity for me to do so.
Do you want to go now before we start on that? Sure. Okay, let's go with that first and then we'll come right back to you. Just, yeah, thank you.
It is the charter, it has to do with limitation on campaign contributions.
Mhm.
The limit is currently $200 per election for county officers. I believe that during the recent charter review for the city of Tallahassee, that amount went to $1,000 per county office. And so
It's 250.
the action would be for us to consider whether that amount needs to be increased, stay the same, or whatever for county office.
Right, I do think is there some state law on that
Yes,
that needs to be addressed?
Hello, yes. Yes, there's an editor's note at the bottom of section 3.4, which identifies chapter 2021-16 laws of Florida, which basically rendered that current provision in our code void. We are preempted by state law.
So what is the current amount?
1,000.
I think it's 500 or something like.
I think it's 1,000.
1,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, preemption. Yeah, okay. All right. Mr. Davis, did you have a comment on that, or are you just playing by these? Thank you. All right, back to you, Dr. Strobel.
Hey. So this is for restoring communities from historic harms. We know that Leon County has ongoing disparities in wealth, housing, environmental exposure, and neighborhood opportunities. These inequities, again, align closely with historic patterns of public policy that was put forth in Leon County, dating from its inception well through certain changes. In February 2024, the Board of County Commissioners formally acknowledged and apologized for the county's role in these systems of harm. So the policy I'm proposing will be an amendment to the charter which seeks to restore communities impacted by harmful public policy with the idea of providing structural authority, continuity, and long-term mandates necessary to address these historic harms. I do have a policy brief prepared. However, I didn't know if I could share it with the group ahead of the meeting. So I could send it in the afterwards for everyone to take a more detailed look at it. But generally what we're looking at is a charter level provision that would set the county in a direction of creating the necessary programs to mitigate these harms that have been apologized for in the past.
And that's your motion. Do I hear a second on this motion?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to move forward with, again, I guess it's with more information, and you will also provide some information on that.
Correct.
Are there any comments on this? Ms. Favors?
So is it appropriate for Dr. Strobel to pass out?
Do you have it to pass out now?
Electronic.
It's online.
So I need to email it. So I need to. Okay.
And then if you, I'm sorry.
I can distribute it electronically to all the members, or we can include it as an attachment. We can decide.
And am I right that when we get that electronically, we're not to discuss it back and forth at all online? Outside of the meeting, got it?
So you will give it to us before the next meeting, correct?
If the motion passes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Hunt.
Is there any way you could provide an example of what you're talking about so that we can have a little bit of context before we make a vote, please?
Yes, and you need an example of the historic harms, or
Yes, please, one example of what you're specifically asking for, community restoration for historic harm. So an example of historic harm.
okay. So one example would be urban renewal. Demolished 244 structures in Smoky Hollow neighborhood, displacing 1,200 residents. There was a convict leasing program that was operated by the county that targeted specific residents and caused long-term community harm. So when I speak to restoration, it's the county has already made the apology in February 2024. So I'm suggesting programming that goes along with it to look at what harm was actually done, identify what was caused, and then look for ways to mitigate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Smith?
Sorry, William, process for what?
For what he's talking about around historic harm,
The mitigation or of any of those
I
items?
couldn't speak specifically to anything. I mean, it would be innumerable policies that have been put in place to address issues like this. This is a little bit more specific. Obviously, what Committee Member Strobel is articulating is to have something in the charter, which again, further, it appears would identify policies to be developed, to be budgeted, to address specific issues. It would be, again, it would require significant analysis for us to bring that back to you to kind of help you get your arms around it.
Are there other questions? No. Mr. Robinson? Ms. Robinson, excuse me.
Is that like defined somewhere in statute or county ordinances? That's my first question. Is that defined?
I don't believe so.
And then apologies that have been documented, are those like written apologies for how that can be defined?
Yes, there was a resolution, I believe, adopted by the board. Yeah, I think it was general. It was sort of a general statement at the time. But again, should this motion pass, we'd be happy to bring that back.
All right. Mr. Lewis?
Let me give you a national example. Then Surgeon General David Satcher appointed a committee that I served on to look at the Tuskegee syphilis experiment in which over 300 Black men were impregnated with syphilis and not treated by the United States Public Health Service. As a result of that committee, then President Bill Clinton, in our recommendation to him, apologized to the nation in a White House ceremony that I also attended, that and then appropriated $300 million to look at about unethical studies with Black and underserved populations. They then put in a statute in the United States Public Health Service how clinical research must be done, particularly as it relates to minority and underserved communities in that regard.
Yeah, that's a tremendous, tremendous example, yeah. Are there other comments on that? Ms. Tuggerson? Yeah.
Can it be adjusted where they also look at the displaced businesses that are in those areas as well?
What did you say? I didn't understand you. I didn't understand what you said.
What I'm trying to say is, a lot of the area that he mentioned also is in our CRA district in our community. So can something like that for displaced businesses or do something like that already exist if they're experiencing where they have to move out of those particular areas as well? Can it be adjusted to that?
I would be open to it, but I think that would be for, makes sense.
To the friendly.
That's up to you if you want to amend your motion.
Yes, I would accept that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, without further comments, go ahead and take a vote. The motion's been made and seconded to move forward on, not exactly sure how to put it, but restoration for historic harm throughout the community. So all those in favor of moving forward with this, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you.
The last on the list, number 10, non-binding poll question regarding the sale of city property. I believe you said on Magnolia. Member Hurley.
So I would really like to
Just add his name, don't.
introduce this concept and perhaps not even make a motion on it. I just want to have you all marinate on this concept, which is that we have the ability as the Charter Review Committee to place non-binding, what Florida statute refers to as straw ballots, on the general election only ballot. That is a key limitation of the straw ballot mechanism, is that they can only be on, that you can't call a special election for a straw ballot. So we cannot call a special election to ask a question. And because it is non-binding, there's nothing prohibiting this body from asking a question like, shall the city of Tallahassee work to sell or transfer city property located on Magnolia, commonly referred to as Tallahassee Memorial Hospital? County Attorney, would you, can you address the question of the straw ballot in terms of, does this body have the ability to put non-binding questions on a ballot?
Oh, sure, recognizing, of course.
The county has the authority. So that is something, this body can request that the county commission put a straw ballot on the ballot. It would be up to the county commission to decide whether to do that, but the county commission has that authority under section 125.1.
So did I hear in there that it's not the county attorney's position that we, this body ourselves can, I guess, was there a distinction in there in how every one of these other ones was done?
The process for all of these would be the same, whether it's a straw ballot or not. Ultimately, they go to the county commission to determine whether the county commission agrees to put them on the ballot. This body does not act unilaterally in that respect.
Okay, understood.
Right. Are there other questions on that? Did you make a motion to that
Yeah,
effect?
and I don't intend to make a motion. I would like to introduce this idea to you all, and I'd like you all to think about it. It is an option that we have in our community. It's obviously a very important issue, and it's something I'd like you all to consider.
The table points, table items.
Oh, we're ready to take up table items now? Okay. So everybody, at that point then, we're just a topic to think about, so, okay. All right, so now we're going to go back to the items that you tabled earlier.
Well, and I would also just defer to the entire board in terms of, does anyone, I mean, for example, a committee member, Edwards, brought up another idea, and if anyone would like to.
Yeah, okay, I'll manage that if that's necessary. I don't see any other cards on the table, but
Okay.
if there are, okay. Thank you for your help.
So did you want to go
We're going to go forward with your tabled issues.
So this has been in affordable housing, and its funding has obviously been a discussion in our community for a long time. Where some of those conversations have gone is Blueprint, in terms of changing Blueprint, and it's been brought up at various times that there's a cap at the state level for how much sales tax any one government can put on, and as I understand it, Leon County is currently capped. a lot of times we have these discussions, city or county or blueprint together, and the conversation usually ends with, well, we'd have to look at Florida statute and see what tools are available and what could be done. And so this item would bring back information before this body, looking at, is there any potential, way to find a funding mechanism for affordable housing?
Is that your,
So I'd like to make that a motion, yeah.
motion's been made and seconded to bring back for further review information on affordable housing. I don't know if you're speaking about ordinances or just statement, I'm not quite sure.
Funding.
Or funding. Other questions? Yeah, Mr. Jones?
What I can imagine could potentially come from this would be information, whether it be MSTUs or we included in the budget, but all the different options that are available to us in terms of providing us a sustainable mechanism by which affordable housing is addressed by Leon County and what all those options would look like. So that's why I provide the second, because I would be interested in knowing that information.
What's going on now?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, Dr. Robinson?
I'm in favor of this, of course, but my question is, where would this lie? We're talking about a charter reviews. Where would this lie in the charter? Or would this maybe go along with the commission we want to have looking at preservation of food assistance and so forth? I'm just trying to see, we need this, but is this a charter thing or is this something we need to take to the county commission?
And could I just ask a question too? I mean, is this something, it seems like the county commission has already handled this. I'm not sure what the upshot is, but I know it's been discussed on the county quite a bit. Could you
Yes,
speak to that,
sure, happy to.
Mr.
Thank you,
Administrator?
Madam Chair. Yeah, like many issues that you all are talking about today, again, in concept, we can all, I'm sure this entire group can agree that most of these are important issues. And the issue that you're going to have to decide is when you get additional information, is the issue being adequately addressed? And are there additional avenues that can be facilitated through a charter to do more? And so the analysis would answer those questions.
Yeah, so one of the things that we all are, have to keep in mind is we're not another county commission, so we're not trying to overstep or tell them exactly what to do. We're telling them what we're interested in them doing. But adding to the charter is a whole different level of what we're thinking about. So, yeah, Commissioner Jones,
Funding mechanism for affordable housing is any different than the prioritization of food security rather than the words, right? And so if both are what we see as community challenges that we hope to address, I don't see a difference between one and the other than the information that would come back, and then what we would then subsequently recommend potentially, if it does fit into the charter review question, but that we would create it as a sustainable pillar is what we would hope this charter process does for both of those items.
Dr. Robinson, have a question on that?
Trying to be careful. I'm on a slippery slope here. No, I can't be reckless. I'm going to table my comments for now.
Okay, all right. Mr. Strobel.
With this request, is it possible that we ask when it's brought back that it's with potential charter action that could address the issue? So that will.
That was my question.
Oh, okay.
And that's probably something that each and every analysis is going to bring to us.
Yes, and just to clarify, and we sort of laid a lot of this out at the outset, you're going sort of obviously in steps here. So the next step, that's sort of putting two steps together a little bit, and it may not be something the board wants to do. The first step is, do you all believe that something represents an issue significant enough to be brought back as an agenda item. If it does, you all consider that, all that information, and then you decide based on that, does the issue warrant giving staff the direction to then bring back proposed charter amendments on that issue, which is another tier of consideration that you all, again, will have to consider. So that's generally the way it's laid out. Again, if that's helpful.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm back.
You're back. Okay.
This is evidence I have not done all of my homework. I do know that we prioritize in Leon County access to primary care services for our residents that live 100% or lower of the federal poverty level. However, we have not prioritized funding changes and enhancements over the past almost 10 years. So as we look at food security and we look at affordable housing, we also need to look at the sustainability and the expansion of access to primary care services for our low-income residents and those residents that are between 100% and 150 or 200%. What does this have to do with the charter? Not quite sure, but if we're going to lump food security,
Housing.
health security, housing security, and a Bill of Rights for our residents here, then that's something that we need to start thinking about. And how then do we package this and take it to the county commission for their consideration?
And that seems to me that would be something that if we go forward with this piece on just the funding, we'll get more information on it, but at some point when we're all discussing it, we would be able to say, let's kind of pull these all together in some way, whether in the Bill of Rights or a single issue somehow. Is that, yeah. Mr. County.
Just a point of order, we do have a motion and a second on the floor. I think Committee Member Robinson is potentially introducing a new topic, which is fine, but we do need to take a vote on the pending motion.
Yeah, so just looking on down the road, we can get into that. Are there other comments on that? You're finished with that? Okay, a motion is seconded on the floor then to get financial information from all the sources that are now working on affordable housing issues. All those in favor of moving forward, say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Please. Here now, in this. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
It's okay.
I think her comment is well placed because of the two that we have before us, potentially the third that she will recommend, this goes back to, and all of us are appointed from our respective commissioners and bring our perspectives to bear. But there is a certain uniformity for us as a community value, and that is catering to the vulnerable. And I can't imagine that a charter that talks of that informs what we see as sustainable values as a community, how, depending upon how it is messaged, how the legislation or the language is prepared for our ultimate management, that we can't find ways that catering to the vulnerable are not manifest as a part of our charter. And I'm certain that as the information comes back to us for us to digest, we will then gain additional perspective from the leadership, from our capable administrator and attorneys and staff that will help us to create it in such a way that it does become charter review ready, such that we can possibly, if it is something that we ultimately decide, but I don't know that we have been hamstringed by what we can't discuss for charter review. So options to cater to the vulnerable, I certainly would hope would be a part of our conversation.
And has been this morning. Okay, at this point then we're going to move on to the next item, which is funding mechanism for fire services. And that, do you still, oh, I'm sorry. Dr. Robinson down there, you had your card up, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Apology.
The part about access to primary care, are we gonna discuss that now or is it later?
We've already voted on that particular motion unless, on the motion that, were we discussing it, primary care was not, I was
No, I'd like,
thinking that might come up when we get the information back from the staff, but, we could move forward with that as a separate issue.
That wasn't part of the motion, but a committee member could put a new item on the list.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
come up separately if you'd like to do that or Dr. Robinson or somebody, if you want to put that on as a next item. We now have 9, but we can
yes,
add 10.
whenever it's the right time to do it.
I think, go ahead.
My turn?
Yeah.
Do it now.
Let's word it as funding mechanism to expand the existing primary care services for Leon.
Second.
Funding mechanism to expand access to primary care services for
Primary-
low-income Leon County residents.
Right.
Because we do have some.
Motion's been made. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I hear several seconds. Thank you. All right. Yeah, Doctor.
So.
Excuse me.
To the point that she made, ACA is pending a decision on rural health transformation dollars that's going to improve workforce development, expanding access to primary and preventative care, specialty care technology. But we're talking a tune of like more than $50 million that's set to come to the state starting a decision will be made by, bless you, by December the 30th. And so this money that we're talking about will come in the spring. So as we think about this consideration, I do think when they bring back the county analysis, that if an action is warranted for this, you want to take action fast because the procurement process for these dollars to come to entities, municipalities, et cetera, is going to move pretty quickly. And one point to note, I do know that they recognize what's called a RUCA code, which is a rural area in an urban area. And so I think when that analysis is done, like documenting the rural areas that are designated directly in Leon County is very important. And there may be some timely action that's required to access those funds immediately. Just putting it out there as a point of information.
Could be, yeah.
Absolutely. And the statewide listening sessions and webinars started this week.
Okay, thank you. Right, moving forward with the vote on this additional issue of, for discussion on expanding primary health care here in the community. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, no. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Back to number 5. The funding mechanism for fire services.
So, in Leon County, well, Mr. County Administrator, would you like to give us maybe a 30-second explanation of how we fund currently?
Sure. Madam Chair. So fire services are funded through a fire services fee that is assessment. There's a legal distinction. This happens a lot between us. And a fire services assessment and which is and there's basically the fee is established based on the level of fire protection to a home. There are 2 zones, so there are 2 different fees depending on your proximity to a fire department, or I should say to fire fighting apparatus and capabilities and that sort of thing. Again, the fee is one that is adopted by both the city and the county commissions. It has historically been one that the city and county commissions agree to a 5-year fee, which is locked in over a 5-year period of time to provide some certainty and stability in that fee structure. And it's how we fund fire in the community. It's a common way to fund fire services in Florida. It's not the only way to do it, but it's a common way to do it, and happy to elaborate.
The 2 other ways that are typically done are through the mill and through an assessment levied by a fire services district? Are those the three, generally, is that the landscape?
There are fire taxing districts, which can be independent or dependent districts that stand on their own, for the lack of a better term, from the local government. Again, they have their own millage rates that are available to them under law. So again, you could establish dependent or independent fire districts. You can also fund fire in any other way that it's allowable. And again, to include funding fire through property taxes.
Thank you. So where we're at now is that there's obviously some disagreement between the city and county on the current round of the fire services fee. And my intention with this is to allow us to have a backup plan, a backup rail for the funding of fire services fee. And when I say that, I mean 4 months from now, 8 months from now. The county commission is currently looking at this, and this action that this body would take of having more information preserves the Leon County Commission's ability to have all options on the table as they go through the spring in the next several months and look at how they're going to address this problem. So the motion I'd like to make is to have staff come back with some thoughts about how we fund fire services in Leon County.
Second.
Made a second to bring back further information on funding mechanism for fire services.
Madam Chair.
I have a question.
Nice.
Yeah.
The
Ms.
question
Beavers.
that I would have is, doesn't the county already have that authority that would not require any kind of charter amendment, would it?
Good, Madam Chair.
Certainly.
Sure, and I'll just say again, you notice staff, we're very conscious about stepping on any motions here or anything. When we bring back additional information, we'll be bringing what I'm about to say back as well. You all are drifting into policy areas, and which is okay. You've got some ability to do that. You may remember in my introductory presentation, it was very entertaining. You all seemed to really enjoy it. Very thorough. But I talked about then sort of the nature of this is that if the body has the ability to address issues through ordinances, through their action, generally speaking, those are not issues that you find in charters. Generally, there are some exceptions, and they are exceptions. In the, for example, a couple of recent charters have included language relative to affordable housing, for example. So they are exceptions. But generally speaking, charter amendments go to the power structure and authority of the government. Again, what's the composition of the board? How's the organization structured? They generally, because if you continue sort of down this road, it's easy for everyone to see, obviously, that you could name any issue up here. You could say environmental issues should be funded at the highest level and they should be the highest priority. And you can say this issue and that issue, we could load it up and go through. It would have very little practical impact. The real impact is to have those issues addressed by the board in their strategic plans, which are aligned with their budgets and carried out by staff. And you guys get the point there. So again, a lot of that information, when we bring this information back to you, this is just foreshadowing. We'll come back and tell you again, these are issues which have been addressed, which are being addressed. And then again, you all can decide, is this one of those sort of what I would call exceptions in the area of policy? But yes, Anita, we are addressing that issue actively, including a current study to identify alternative funding models for fire.
So also, I mean, it's probably prudent of all of us to consider just staff time if we continue to just toss out things that we'd like to know more about, because this isn't government 101. Is that what you teach, Vince?
Okay.
Sometimes, we do want to be prudent about how much we're just kind of curious for more information and what would really be beneficial. And we do have, 45 minutes left in this meeting. We have two presentations on the things we asked for last time. So we have quite a bit more to get through today. So without further ado, Mr. Smith, you have a comment on this?
Ones that are after like funding pieces, where's that money coming from? And is that part of this group to decide where that money comes from? And I mean, there's some of the great ideas, but we got to pay for them. And who's coming up with that money, or how does that work?
Yeah.
Your question is,
North Bench, or I don't know who it's directed to, but yeah.
I was, as a maker of the motion, this is to look at mechanism really should be plural. Look at the options for how, and we may come back and say, well, there are no options.
Yeah, I'm not just talking about the fire service fee. I'm talking about affordable housing. I'm talking about food security. I mean, all this stuff, they're great ideas, but we gotta have money, and I don't know where it comes from.
Right.
That's the bank.
and that would be part of the staff information, I'm assuming as well. It would be key to that. Mr. Lewis, do you have a question?
Yeah. They should do all over again. Mid-80s, the city and the county found itself in the exact same spot that we are now regarding fire services. And we had a number of tragic fires in our rural communities. We had insurance premiums in the rural area sky high at the time, and the commissions at the time could not see eye to eye. I think Vince was assistant city manager at that time. We did seek alternatives to fire services, and we did find a company in Dallas, Texas, who made a very strong bid to do fire services for Leon County. And the two commissions came to their better senses, if I can use that term, and saw fit to keep fire services local, as they should now, and work out a deal that was amenable both fiscally and to the betterment of the citizens of Leon County.
Right.
And I hope that our two commissions can do the same thing right now.
And to your
Tremendous.
Yeah.
And to your point, I mean, one of the things about the charter, our job is not to solve problems for the locally elected county and city commissions. This is not our job, even though we would love to try, huh? Okay. Dr. Robinson, do you have a comment?
And I guess not to speak for my colleagues at the table, but when we look at things such as affordable housing, food security, access to primary care, and then we look at the charter, I think that if we word it in such a way that these concepts are in the charter under the heading of the welfare of the citizens of Leon County,
Right.
and that it is prioritized in the charter,
Correct.
then we can now have any citizen stand before the county commission and say, look, this is prioritized in our charter.
How's it-
Now we need somebody to see, how do we create it, how do we fund this? How do we get access to the funding? But, so we could take 2 or 3 of these things and pass it forward to go into the charter to be voted on. And then the groundwork starts. So I just want to make sure I didn't mean to take poor Shinkton and send him down the road to start digging up money, but to lift this up as a priority.
Ms. Shinkton can handle that. All right, I think at this point, I'm sorry, Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
So obviously I can't let this issue go by without me speaking on
I
it.
was kind of surprised you were sitting over there.
You know, I'm in general in favor of getting as much information as we can on any aspect of that the committee finds important. And obviously this is an important issue for me. I'm thankful that I don't work for a company out of Detroit and all that. But I think that we do need to tailor it. If we're gonna look at something specific on the funding mechanism, we need to be a little bit more tailored in what we're looking at. If we're looking at an issue of preeminence on how that funding mechanism is dealt with. I know the county and city have had a lot of conversation about property tax or electric bills. There's an actual court case now. I mean, there's a lot of things that are ongoing with this. I don't know that now is necessarily the time to deal with it because there's a lot of things that are up in the air. But I would definitely like to hear, is there a specific area that you're looking at or?
Yeah, so one of the things that would necessitate being on the ballot would be one of the options of a fire services district. And is that accurate that does the Leon County Commission, they could put it on the ballot themselves as well, right? But it would have to be a ballot. They couldn't create a fire district by ordinance.
No, in fact, it might work, depending on which you have a dependent or an independent district, it might require legislative approval as well.
Just to speak to that quickly, I believe if it's a dependent, it can be done by the county. Then it would report back to the county. If it's independent, it would have to be done by the legislature or by citizen action.
But if it was the dependent, then it would be the Leon County Commission to still put it on the ballot, not via ordinance. Is that right?
I'm not even sure it would require being put on a ballot for a dependent district. It's something we would look at. But it is actively being explored. All of those models are being actively analyzed currently.
Recommend motion to table.
Okay, we'll make a motion to table.
Make motion to table?
Yeah.
Or a second on that?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to table a motion. Is there a vote on that? Yeah. All in favor of tabling the motion, say aye. 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 Okay, thank you. Right. Dr. Kessler.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to be totally, I don't know, purple or yellow, trying to not use black and white, in trying to understand, again, what we as a charter committee member are supposed to be doing in putting forward our ideas or motions. And so every time we got into policy, as Mr. Long described, I was getting kind of confused and sort of, you know, well, how does this happen? How does this get on a charter that way? As opposed to like some really good ideas of, yeah, care for the indigent, affordable housing, food security. But as a member of the committee, Vince is going to love this. If the committee says, well, let's put forward a motion that 0.5% mill is going to go to affordable housing every year. Could the committee do that? I'm not advocating for it, but I want to understand more clearly how these motions get worded.
Vince, you want to?
Sure.
Yeah.
Happy to do that. Yeah, there are some limitations, and the county attorney and I were just discussing them. For example, you all couldn't necessarily put in charter limitations that infringed on land development rights and that sort of thing. Just to use an example, when you start getting down to this realm of policy, there are similar limitations relative to budget authority and appropriation and the appropriating of public funds and that sort of thing, and even dictating that sort of thing. Again, it would be part of the analysis on every one of it because it's context specific on each one of these. In some areas, you may find that, for example, in the area of affordable housing, that there are optional local option sales taxes and other things that can be utilized for that. But again, you'll probably find when the analysis comes back that a lot of those abilities that we have been exercised or are being exercised and that sort of thing. So again, it's very context specific. But if it's one of those, and that's why we sort of have this process in steps, that additional information would come back to you and we would tell you what we're doing, how we're doing it, whether it's adequate or not is something that that you all could debate. Whether you could make recommendations to the board that could be effectuated through a charter is one thing. You may find that you can't effectuate it through a charter, but you still want to make the recommendation to the board that they ought to do it. You know what I mean? From a budgetary standpoint. And that's okay too. We would bring that information back to the board.
Thank you.
So that's a place to put some of these issues, probably. Right on down. Mr. Ray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We just made a pretty significant decision earlier without very much debate about consolidation. I just wanted to, in the spirit of general commentary before we move to presentations, would it be appropriate to address that before we move on?
You wanted to bring up another,
Well, no, just in the spirit of general commentary about what we've done, which we've seen so far, I would just want to offer a few thoughts before we move on to presentations that, to quote another member of this committee, by going too far into the consolidation conversation, I think we might be borrowing trouble. American governance in general is kind of in a crisis right now, and I think that we should proceed carefully before adding more chaos, more divisive issues. In other areas, we see the least urbanized, the commissioner-driven conversation to a degree. And I think we're getting a little bit into dicey territory that's kind of beyond the ecumenical, sort of global, overall, big picture moment. I think we might be. We've heard references to dysfunction within the city and county government. No, but certainly, you'll get no argument here, right? But are we going too far into a structural solution to a political problem which is likely to change in the near future? Every so often this conversation comes up. We know that there's probably not 5 votes on the county commission to pursue consolidation. There may or may not be 4. Taking this issue through this process lowers the threshold to put it on the ballot. And do we really want to be seen? There are certain things that only cities can do. Well, there's only one city in this county. So by essentially consolidating, we're essentially really functionally what that is basically destroying and limiting our own capacity for municipal governance. Do we want to be the group of people that took the ball out of our own hands and limited our own city, limited city government in general in Florida, in the heat of passion between arguments between different parties? So I just would say that we want to avoid being on an island policy-wise. I would want us to sort of hippocratically aim to do no harm before we get in any sort of radical experimentation, especially in a community that has over and over again, unless you're like a sprawl developer looking to avoid municipal oversight, or maybe a investor-owned utility looking to make an opportunity out of uncertainty within the local community. I have not really heard people asking for this, and so I think that the longer that we linger on the primrose path to the kind of Bermuda Triangle of consolidation, I think that there's probably more profitable areas where there's more of a mandate from the community to spend our time on, and the extent to which that we linger here, I think there are more profitable areas that we can probably agree on and have more mandate from the community. So I just want to say that in the spirit of general commentary before we move on to presentations. Appreciate your indulgence, Madam Chair.
so at this point, we have 10 items that we've asked for more information. Well, I guess not. We've tabled a couple of them. But we have a lot more information coming back and more steps where we will, I think, maybe do a better job of shaking out what we can and cannot do in terms of whether we want to consolidate some of these issues, that kind of consolidation, or not. So I appreciate your comments. And just to keep us going, I think it is time now for presentations. We have 2 of them that we asked for last time. So as you can see, if we have this many, and we're going to try to do 2 that we brought up the last meeting. So first one is the annexation procedures and processes. Chastity, are you taking over that one? And then next we'll have the information on the street renaming, jurisdictional standards for street renaming. So that's 2 today. First up is annexation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll try not to take up all the remaining time with this presentation. It's going to be really to the point. There's already a statutory process for voluntary annexation and involuntary annexations. The city of Tallahassee limits, because we only have one city. There's a process for that. The city and the county also have an existing interlocal agreement that governs the process that's used when annexation is requested. There's also provision in the comp plan that provides for certain minimum requirements related to annexations as well. That's all outlined again in your agenda item. Happy to answer any questions the committee might have. Involuntary annexation, much more rare than voluntary annexations. It's basically when the municipality decides that it wants certain property to be moved into the municipal boundaries. I believe locally the last time that was on the ballot was in 2002 for property in the Southern Triangle area, and that was not successful. And to my knowledge, the city of Tallahassee has not proposed an involuntary annexation since then. Involuntary annexations do require a referendum of the affected property owners. And again, that's why that particular involuntary annexation was not successful. Again, that process is preempted by state law. We cannot do anything in the charter to amend or modify or otherwise provide for an alternative involuntary annexation process. Happy to answer any questions.
Can I ask a question? Something that you just said, Madam Attorney, when you say involuntary annexation, I understand these are state statute terms, but remind me, does the involuntary one, does that mean that there wasn't a petition and therefore it's on the ballot? So that voluntary is when there's a petition by the landowner and involuntary is when it's on the ballot, is that right?
Correct. A voluntary annexation is when the affected property owners petition directly to the municipality for annexation into the municipal boundaries. That triggers the process that's noticed to the county. It's considered by the county. The county has an opportunity to object. If the county has a legal basis to object and doesn't agree, that triggers under the interlocal agreement between the city and the county, like dispute resolution, to try to resolve that. But involuntary annexation is when the municipality itself wants to petition or basically place on the ballot a referendum to move property into the municipal limits. It is not at the direction or request of the property owners themselves. That's voluntary.
And so this is kind of a phantom item, right? This is pushed to us from the county commission? There's none of us sponsored this, right?
I think we,
You guys asked for the annexation item. That
Right.
did not provide direction for you to consider this.
we asked for it.
Correct. Now, the board did consider two specific annexation-related items and whether to forward them to this committee for consideration and declined to do so.
And so sorry. Well, so if you've read your information, the report that we did get back that we requested, there are two options: to accept the status report and take no further action, or if there is any direction here from the committee. So those are the two things. It's recommended that we accept the status report and take no further action.
I would move option one.
Option one's been moved and seconded.
In discussion,
Comment?
there are 8 precincts in the south side that we would all call Tallahassee. And 5 of them are in historically black precincts, and they do not have the right to vote in city elections. And Leon County Commissioner Bill Proctor has been advocating for decades for their ability to be citizens of the city. And if there's anything that we can do to try to alleviate that and address that, I am not sure if there is. But if there are any specific suggestions that the public has or this body has, I would love to hear them because it's certainly a goal.
Comments? Mr. Wilcox?
Yeah, just a point of clarification, Chastity. Is there any size enclave that can be involuntarily annexed, or does every involuntary annexation go to referendum?
Enclaves are treated a little bit differently. It is dependent on size and depending if it meets the property owner number and size requirements or limitations, then statutorily the county and the city can agree by interlocal agreement. It does not have to go to referendum. That is, again, pretty rare. And those limitations are outlined in the agenda item. There's a section that talks about annexation of enclaves, and all of that information is outlined there where that would apply.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if there are no further questions, the motion's been made and seconded to accept the status report and take no further action. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. The next report we have coming up is, I saw Ken was going to do it, but
I think I've got this
Not
one.
sure.
Madam
You're
Chair,
good. Okay.
thank you. I'll be even
Sorry.
quicker than the county attorney on the last one. This falls into the category of additional information. You all may recall at your last couple of meetings, you sort of addressed that big issue that the board asked you to look at with whether county ordinances should supersede all city ordinances. You chewed on that for a while. You narrowed it down to, well, maybe not all, but what about in specific circumstances? I think you pretty much dispensed with that issue, but where that conversation ended was, are there additional ways that the county and city could create for a unified street naming process outside of a charter amendment? That was kind of the where you left it, and you wanted us to come back to provide information about outside of a charter amendment. Could you require some uniform standards with respect to street renamings? The answer is not really. I mean, absent a legislative mandate that changed that or a charter amendment, you couldn't require it outside the two jurisdictions just agreeing to do so, right? The jurisdictions can agree to do anything. And in this case, they haven't. Again, as we told you in the background, it used to be the case that we agreed to a unified street naming process. We've gone away from that. The city adopted their own ordinance to name streets within the city. And so we've gotten away from that. Again, however, you got to acknowledge all of these issues. I'm not diminishing the issue in any way, but some of these things are trends. What might be an issue today may be resolved tomorrow through the process. And I know you've never seen that, Anita, right?
Right.
But again, we came back to you with that additional information to simply state, again, not really a way outside of the charter currently to require this uniform street renaming process. You also asked that the city staff be available to answer any questions you have. I talked to the city manager about this, and as I've said in the item, the city commission wanted to, again, express their respect for the purview and the responsibility, important responsibility of this committee. But the city manager thought that the item, he reviewed the item, he thought the item was accurate, didn't feel like city staff had anything more to add to that. So with that, again, you've got the options before you, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right, you all see the three options before us. One is accept the report, table the issue. The other is direct staff to propose charter amendment language. And third is any other direction. Do I hear a motion on any of the, well, it's basically two.
I would move option one.
Move option one.
Yes, ma'am.
Do I hear a second moving option one, which is basically to accept the report and table the motion, table the information.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the report and table this issue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried.
Madam
No.
Chair,
We have roll, pardon me, Ms.
I have
Favors?
a question. Did we finish the vote?
We're going to have to take a roll call vote.
Okay, I'll wait till.
Thank you.
Joey Davis. Linda Bond Edwards.
Yes.
Liz Ellis.
Aye.
Anita Favors.
Aye.
Max Hurley.
Aye.
Daryl Jones.
Yes.
Howard Kessler.
Yes.
Henry Lewis.
Yes.
Heidi Otway.
Yes.
Ryan Ray.
Yes.
Shamario Roberson.
Yes.
Temple Robinson.
Yes.
William Smith.
Yes.
Bruce Strobel.
Question. Can I ask a question or I have to?
Well, yeah, we're voting right now, if you don't mind voting right now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jarrett Terry.
Yeah.
Katrina Tuggerson.
Yes.
Barry Wilcox.
Yes.
Vice Chair Haynes.
No.
Chair Lindley.
Yes.
The motion passes with one in opposition.
Right, okay. Yeah, Dr. Strubel, would you like to, I'm sorry.
To understand the opposition before I voted to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
I have a question.
I'm sorry. Oh, Ms. Favors?
My question is, we have voted to table the issue, which I agreed with that vote. Does that mean that we cannot come back at some point and make a strong recommendation that the city and county give this some consideration. I think it's a very important issue, and I think that's probably where Dr. Strobel is going as
I
well.
was kind of wondering, you know, you said earlier, we may be making recommendations, not necessarily suggestions for charter language, but just
Correct.
recommendations that we've discussed and like to see. Would that fall under that?
I would only suggest, and it's entirely up to this committee, but you all are going to be moving on to a lot of issues. Now's probably the time. I mean, if you did want to make a motion to that effect, to make a recommendation to the board along those lines, again, we would receive that and make that part of the report.
I would like to make that motion.
And what would the motion be? Can
The
you
motion would be
specify?
that the city and county commissioners give strong consideration to looking at ways that they can come into agreement about how street renaming should be done.
Okay, do I hear a second on that motion?
Second.
Second has been made.
May I put an addition to the motion with the input from law enforcement, emergency services? Yes.
Make
Because this is
recommendation
very
to
dangerous.
this.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly.
Second, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
Just a
Edwards.
question, is there any citizen input as part of that process? Or is it just the city and county representative?
That comes before both of those commissions that there would be.
That's right.
Citizens would come before those commissions, yeah, when it's discussed, right? Yeah. Okay, Mr. Ray?
Just want to say, good motion. Looking forward to supporting it.
Okay, all right, well, the motion's been made and seconded to recommend to the city and county commissions that they get seriously involved in trying to find ways to make some uniformity in the naming of streets and with input from fire services and EMS and so forth. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Wow. We've come to the end of our agenda for the moment, but if we have some time, if there's discussion that you all would like to come forward with, see, Mr. Wilcox?
Can I just ask a question of staff? It kind of combines the two issues there. Annexation of roadways. I think a lot of folks here might be surprised to find out that Gadsden and Calhoun are county roads totally encompassed by the city, as is Tharp Street.
And we'd be more than happy to.
That's true.
It makes for, an awkward, when it comes to street renaming in particular, these are streets that, are completely within the city in some cases and yet are still the purview of the county. So great for street renaming, but from a maintenance standpoint,
Right.
I'm sure
Magnolia Drive, isn't that another one?
it might be another one, sure. But is there, what's Chastity in particular process for annexing streets?
Huh. Chastity, you want to?
So, it's a little bit complicated. There's a whole statutory construct for roads and which are federal, state, and local. And then, there was a change in, I think it was in the 70s, about how roads can be conveyed from one local jurisdiction to another. And so now we try to be very deliberate when developments occur about who is going to be responsible prospectively for maintenance obligations. But there are a lot of existing roadways that are legacy roadways, if you will, where they are existing county roads that were never conveyed formally. But the parties can agree to do that voluntarily. But there has to be documentation about that conveyance and everything else. Now it's done by plat sometimes, again, during development and things like that. But, and this is outside of my general wheelhouse, but it's my understanding a lot of that becomes an issue from it's a monetary issue because maintenance is expensive. And so there might not be a desire to assume maintenance responsibilities of roads.
Yeah, just to add to that, Anita just didn't like those two roads. And she put it back when she was, and she gave it, and we used, whatever, you remember how you used to, whatever she said, we did. And so we took that over and we're happy to continue to do it.
And to that, I might add that the county attorney's wheelhouse seems really enormous to me, the way you come up with this.
And I might add that we do receive funding for maintenance of various roads that are not either city or county designated. So that would need to be a consideration as well. The city, I'll speak for the city, has always gone the extra mile in terms of maintenance, even on roads that were not city roads, because we wanted to maintain a standard of beauty in the community. So we have paid over the amount that the state usually provides on the state roads.
All right, thank you. Yes, yes, sir.
Oh, I have a question pertaining to the conflicting ordinances charter idea, and I'm wondering where we stand with that and what will be the process to reopen that discussion in a future meeting.
Conflicting charter.
I'm sorry, conflicting ordinances. We had a proposal, or we had the recommendation from the county to look at where the county would supersede the city in terms of conflicting ordinances.
So at your last meeting, the committee voted to not advance the issue for charter amendment language. However, if the committee would want to revisit that, given that you've already taken action, it would require a supermajority vote of the committee.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask Committee Member Wilcox, was your inquiry about that, were you looking at having like the motion prior, something to go back to the county commission to look at the county's one-ways that they own?
It was more informational in general, just, given that we understand how property is annexed now, how do we annex infrastructure, especially streets, which do carry with them a significant maintenance cost? And you have a street that's, like I said, it's within the bounds of the city, so the city has an interest in what that street looks like, but then the county is the one responsible for maintaining it. So it goes back to kind of that relationship between the two jurisdictions.
Would you like to make a motion?
I was more interested, I was more interested in the information on it. I don't know that that's something that would elevate itself. It seems more of a policy issue, an interlocal issue. This might just ask Reese to foot the bill on the streets. I don't know.
Second.
Ms. Bond, Edwards, you had your card up, but no. Mr. Ray?
Yeah, I just offer my 2 cents that as a seat of government, we have a lot of quirks as a community. I think we should be tolerant of them, I think our centuries long sort of arrangement where if you want to live in the city and have different standards and different taxes and live in the city, that works well. In the county, different. We're going to have some overlap because of our seat of government status. And I think as opposed to rushing to, obliterate all difference, I think that we should work it out at a granular policy level. And that's just all. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, we're a little bit early, but if there are no other issues to discuss right now, and bear in mind, you can bring up things at the next meeting as well. We will have one more meeting before the end of the year. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Motion's been made and seconded. Without further ado, meeting's adjourned. Get to tell my own thing there.
Next meeting.